What happens when a US Navy missile interceptor faces a barrage of 14 supersonic warheads moving faster than 2.5 times the speed of sound? Could even the $4 million SM-6 interceptors withstand that opening strike? Or was the crew risking everything for survival? The answer not only determined the fate of one destroyer, but exposed an even more dangerous Venezuelan strategy waiting in the shadows. Stay with this story because the real turning point came not in the sky, but on the ground inside Venezuela's most vital shipyard. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. What happens when a destroyer faces 14 supersonic weapons within seconds, and survival hinges on split-second counterfire? That question became very real off the Caribbean coast when the USS Arleigh Burke, a guided missile destroyer, found itself locked in as the prime shield protecting the cargo vessel Liberty Star. The Liberty Star carried commercial goods, but its protection was a United States Navy pledge. And in international waters, that meant any strike on it was as good as a strike on the flag itself. The Arleigh Burke sailed close on the flank, a sentinel designed to absorb and deflect the very danger now screaming across the horizon. Without warning, Venezuela's Bastion P coastal defense system activated, a move that thrust a regional standoff into an inescapable moment of combat. 14 P-800 Onyx missiles roared from the launch tubes, each capable of hitting more than Mach 2.6 at a low altitude that challenged even advanced radar systems. Unlike ballistic weapons that climb high into the atmosphere before striking downward, these Onyx missiles skimmed the water's surface, disappearing and reappearing in radar sweeps like stubborn ghosts. Their trajectory mimicked a jet fighter cutting at treetop level speed, leaving defenders only seconds to react. The destroyer's radar operators called out fast, tracking each missile's heading and closing range. Within seconds, vertical launch cells on the Arleigh Burke flared with smoke and light as 8 SM-6 missiles launched in rapid succession. Each of these interceptors flew straight up before tilting toward the incoming sea-skimming objects, fanning outward like hunters chasing multiple prey through shifting targets. The crew had only moments to decide which missiles to pair against which threats, racing to close the intercept window before the Onyxes crossed the lethal threshold. But even the most advanced interceptors do not guarantee success. The SM-6 carried a price tag of more than $4 million each, and with 14 hostile warheads rushing in, the odds of one slipping through were far too high. As the interceptors streaked away, the ship prepared its last shield. The Phalanx CYWS, a radar-directed Gatling gun mounted fore and aft. Its barrels spun up, releasing streams of 20mm rounds at thousands per minute, arcs of tungsten designed not to miss at point-blank ranges. The shrieking bursts cut through the air, aimed at anything that broke past the long-range intercept attempt. Above the water, the missile storm compressed into seconds of chaos. Several Onyxes detonated mid-air as SM-6 intercepts struck directly into their fuselages, creating massive fireballs and raining fragments into the Caribbean waves. The Phalanx ripped 2 more apart in bursts that lasted less than a heartbeat. Yet not every incoming missile found a clean match. Near misses still left unsteady fragments buzzing forward, metal debris slamming into the sea with explosive force. For crews watching from the Liberty Star's deck, the fragmented wreckage shattered the calm, proving just how close destruction had come. One missile nearly skimmed close enough to create panic before splintering into pieces short of its target. Merchant sailors who moments earlier looked out over calm seas now stared into roiling spray tossed by smoking debris. The Arleigh Burke endured the onslaught. Damage reports were checked twice, systems remained operational, and the Liberty Star had avoided catastrophe. Yet the message was unmistakably clear. The Venezuelan launch was not a warning shot, but a calculated gamble to probe US defenses. The risk to civilian shipping was undeniable, and even one warhead slipping through would have scattered fire across crowded lanes of global commerce. The ship survived the first wave, but the strike drew an undeniable conclusion. Caracas had shown intent to press beyond words into open hostility. But this was only the beginning. As soon as the sea calmed from the hiss of debris, the Navy shifted from defense to offense, preparing a response that would target Venezuela's industrial backbone. If the missile barrage was shocking, Venezuela's follow-up revealed a weapon harder to intercept than steel and radar: millions of civilians in uniform. Washington moved quickly once the first attack failed to cripple the Liberty Star. Orders rippled through the chain of command within the hour, and the counterstrike began at dawn. 15 Tomahawk cruise missiles surged from naval platforms, each following a programmed path that hugged the sea before curving inland toward pre-selected targets. Alongside them came Fa-18E Super Hornets, their racks loaded with JASSM standoff missiles designed to strike from well beyond Venezuela's air defenses. The objectives were clear: radar stations that cued missile batteries, launch complexes feeding the Bastion system, and above all, the Puerto Cabello shipyard, the country's largest naval industrial hub. By 9:18 a.m., the results were visible even from the coastline. Towering cranes buckled and tumbled into the docks, flames leapt from fuel storage tanks, and secondary explosions ripped through hangars and ammunition depots. Plumes of black smoke marked hits across the industrial sprawl, and aerial surveillance confirmed that more than 70% of the shipyard lay in ruins. In monetary terms, the destruction represented a loss estimated between $350 and $500 million in only a few hours. On paper, the U.S. had spent close to $80 million in precision-guided munitions, but the trade-off secured billions in maritime commerce by halting a second wave of missile launches before it started. For Washington, the operation looked decisive, a demonstration that advanced standoff weapons could eliminate threats with minimal risk to personnel. Yet in Caracas, the devastation triggered a different kind of response. President Nicolás Maduro went beyond regular military channels and issued a nationwide call to arms. The government mobilized the Bolivarian militia, a force he claimed reached 4.5 million volunteers spread throughout cities and rural valleys. Unlike the Tomahawks or the Onyx missiles, this weapon could not be tracked on radar or destroyed from the air. Men and women poured into training fields, many wearing civilian clothes while holding outdated rifles or simple sidearms. The message was unmistakable. Every street and every village would be defended by ordinary citizens who now saw themselves as part of the front line. The contrast could not have been starker. On the American side, guidance chips, satellite-linked targeting, low observable warheads, and precision munitions ruled the battlefield. On the Venezuelan side, rows of recruits stood with bolt-action rifles, shotguns, or no weapon at all. Yet many, like Edith Perales, a 68-year-old retiree from Carabobo, pledged to fight with whatever they had, insisting publicly that the fatherland must be defended even at personal cost. The optics were powerful. Images of older volunteers gripping rusty carbines carried as much weight as missile test footage. This strategy raised questions far beyond the military dimension. Was the sudden growth of the militia a defensive move to protect sovereignty? Or was it a deliberate human shield tactic meant to complicate U.S. calculations? Political analyst Benigno Alarcón argued that the militia's training or weapon quality mattered less than its sheer presence. He described its function as being a human shield, designed to raise the human cost of any American strikes and force Washington into a dilemma. A bomb on a missile launcher could suddenly become a bomb on a crowd of volunteer fighters. The line between combatant and civilian had blurred, and with it, the rules of engagement. Any escalation now risked international condemnation and the perception of striking civilians rather than legitimate military targets. This clash proved that modern wars are fought on more than one front. Missiles, airstrikes, and naval maneuvers dominate the headlines. But the battle space also stretches into narratives, legal debates, and economic pressure. Venezuela showed that an organized militia can shield a government just as effectively as steel and concrete. So what was the true weapon here? Was it the supersonic missile barrage, or the mass mobilization that blurred the line between civilians and combatants? Let me know in the comments. The Navy's fastest response restored stability, but the presence of militias ensures that calm remains temporary.